This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Dutch Farms, maintaining a family tradition of quality for over 91 years. The Bill and Kelly Show is recorded at Studio A at Executive Suite Squared in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. Now, here's Bill and Kelly. Hello and welcome to the Bill and Kelly Show. Today we are very honored to have Sheriff Bill Dulin, who is the sheriff of Starke County. Starke County is a county due southeast of Porter County and almost directly south of LaPorte County. It has some town names you may be familiar with: Knox, North Judson, Bass Lake, Hamlet, and Sand Prairie. A very small community, a mostly farming community. A lot of people know North Judson, where Bailey's, the famous discount store, is located. And so, Sheriff, welcome to our show. We're so honored that you can join us today.
Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on because we know how busy you are and keeping things straight in Starke County. So why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, where you come from, and your law enforcement background, and then also what inspired you to run for sheriff of Starke County?
Okay. My name is Bill Dulin. Grew up in Starke County. I graduated from Knox High School in '92. Became a jail officer in 1996. I jailed for 3 years, and then I became a road officer in 1999. Well, I went to the police academy, and then I became a detective and a chief deputy. And then I actually ran for sheriff in 2010. And I was 36 years old at that time against an incumbent. And I lost by, I believe, 25 votes. And then, of course, I just waited until the next round, and then I ran for sheriff again. The reason I ran for sheriff is, I think there was a lot of ways that we could change the way that we approach different things. Just the incarceration alone, just locking people up and putting them in jail, not allowing them to do anything for months on end, wasn't working. You know, we was getting jail fights, inmates was getting injured, all kinds of different things. So I thought that I could bring a different change and a different mindset into the way that we do things.
So now that the one thing that you inherited, naturally, you started serving about the same time they opened up the new jail.
Correct. I got elected in January of 2015. We took over occupancy of the new jail in July of 2015. So 5 or 6 months, I moved into the new facility.
Oh, wow. So why don't you give us an update on the jail and how things are shaking out there and
Sure.
so on?
It's we own 23 acres on the property. It's a 148 bed facility. It's got an admin side, much like the modern sheriff's departments or offices do now, where in the old jail, I think it was at 42 capacity. We had inmates sleeping on the floor, and it just wasn't very conducive of what was going on. So I got pretty lucky to move out into the new jail.
That's amazing. So this actually is called the Starke County Justice Center.
Correct.
Right? And then also the court is physically attached to that. And I was just joking before the show. I said, wow, it's like Mayberry. You had your court date and went right to jail right there, all one building. Wow. So not a lot of escorting to the cell then, so to speak.
No.
Now, one of the things that we've heard about a couple of years ago that when we had some roundtable discussions on substance abuse in Porter County we started looking at the surrounding counties. And, from a kid, my dad always used to take me to Bass Lake. And that's where I remember Starke County from. And they began looking at the numbers, particularly related to substance abuse. And I was just absolutely shocked. I'm looking at this county, 22,000 is the total population. And per capita, it was running nose and nose with Porter County and LaPorte County. And so why don't you talk to us about some of the programs that you have developed to help curb that problem in Starke County?
Sure. One of the first things that we done was, it was when we moved in July, it was too late for our garden season. But what I wanted to implement was a garden system and some other programs, and I'll get to them when we get there. But initially, the F.A.R.M actually stands for Fostering a Recovery Mindset. It's all about the addictions, and that's why the acronym is that. It's not necessarily the vegetables and the stuff that we grow, but it is. We have a 5-acre garden out back. The inmates that are in our program, they go through a IOP program similar to Porter Stark's, and actually that's who I mimicked it off of. Again, me and Sheriff Reynolds are very good friends. He's a mentor, and I take for whatever he says for everything that it is. So anyway, we got Porter Stark in here. We've done an IOP program, 16 weeks long. But on top of that, we also do a GED program, and we do the F.A.R.M program. Now, the F.A.R.M program is after their course of their substance abuse studies. So they go outside in the morning, they work in the garden for 4 or 5 hours, and then we rotate. And then we had a hydroponics program, which was with fish. We had a cloning program. We worked with our local Purdue Extension office to get a horticulture degree, little certificates. It's more of to get them out and be productive than it is to sit still, think of ways to be mischievous and not correct the problem that they were originally in here for. And that's their substance abuse program.
Now, is a lot of this obviously it's benefited them, as far as helping them through recovery, but do any of them then go out as a profession and work on the farms? I mean, there's certainly enough of them in Starke County.
Oh yeah, we have a woodworking shop also, where they make benches and picnic tables for the local parks. We also partnered with the Starke County Chamber of Commerce and Economical Development, and we have 5 factories that are welding. They make trailers. So we partnered up with industry across the street from us, actually, and we had 15 inmates that qualified to be welders over there. And after the course, I believe it was 8 weeks, they're state certified welders. So after that, after their time and all that stuff, they went and actually was employed over there. So, not only are we giving them avenues to try to correct themselves with the substance, you're also giving them a job. And that's why a lot of them are back in here. They're either selling the drugs, stealing to buy the drugs to sell. One way or the other, the root is from drugs. So if we figured that if we could give them a job, a stable job, and also to provide them with aftercare once they get out, that they won't come back. And that's the goal.
Wow. And so have you seen any reoccurrences? I mean,
it's happened. It's happened. I'm not too happy about it, but it happens. Sometimes they go through 2 or 3 times before they kind of figure out what's going on. But we did have a recidivism rate of probably 10 or 12%, which is real good, considering what we're fighting here. Every county's got their own issues. But here, for some reason, it seems like it is exploded, and they can't get out of that rut.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, and you think about it, and that's what made me shocked when I first heard about the problem in Starke County, because it was as close to Mayberry as you can get, and a predominantly farm community, rural area, squared, if you will. I mean, you drive 3 or 4 miles before you see anything sometimes on the road in Stark. And I began wondering, gosh, what caused this problem? I mean, being closer to like a major city, and you begin to sense why there is a problem, and the amount of money. Like for Porter County, everyone knows because of Valpo has predominantly affluent area. The money attracts that problem. So, what have you been able to? What attracts that type of and a problem to Stark in the communities there?
It's really hard to pinpoint any one thing, but obviously the addiction. If they know that they can drive 50 miles or whatever to get their next fix or their next drug, they're going to do it. We also have Coons Lake on the northern end of our county, which adjoins to St. Joe County. So we're probably 25, 30 miles away from South Bend.
Oh, that's your major metropolitan area.
Yeah, we're in between South Bend, Fort Wayne, and Chicago.
Right.
So we're right in the middle of it on US 30.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, that spells that out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as far as death rate, overdose, what is your coroner looking at? Yeah.
Okay. I just pulled this today. Now, this is for today, this year. We have 44 non-fatal overdoses, which 35 were used with Narcan. We have 10 fatal, and out of those 10 fatal, Narcan was used on all of them also.
So but now let's back up just to make sure I can wrap my mind around it. So let me put it plainly. So Narcan was able to save how many?
11.
11 out of how many?
Out of the 44.
44. Okay. And obviously the other ones either passed, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
Now, I assume that all your officers have been trained and they have Narcan kits in their vehicles and so on. And we all know now that there's a certain point where Narcan can't help. I mean, it's the best frontline thing that you can carry with you, but in some cases there's just no recovery. Boy, that's a shame. And a lot of those cases, are they because maybe you got to them too late, or it just the amount of drugs that they took?
Probably the amount of drugs, and it could also be the response time. Some of the outer lying areas of a county is always the hardest, and that goes with any county. The more rural areas, we have Monterey, St. Pierre, Coons Lake, Grovertown, anything east of the city or the Knox, the county seat, it's always hard to get to, and there's always back roads. So, we have a probably 20 to 30 minute ETA to St. Pierre, and that's running signal 10, running lights and sirens.
Oh boy. And now, because I don't know, what type of law enforcement do those communities have? Are they predominantly relying on the sheriff's department for their law enforcement?
Correct. Yeah, it's all county jurisdiction, so the sheriff's department covers that. Knox has 8 officers in town. Hamlet has 2, and North Judson, I believe, has 5.
Wow.
But they do assist us. Don't get me wrong, but if it's a ways out there, that sometimes they don't go.
Right.
And that's understandable.
Right. Yeah. In a rural community, I mean, that's it. Yeah. The sheriff's department's got to respond to some of those outlying areas of the towns. What does your staff look like? How many deputies do you have?
We have 14, including admin. So that's including the sheriff, chief deputy, and we have 2 detectives and 1 drug officer, 1 drug detective.
1 dedicated. Oh,
yeah.
All right. Now, in the jail, besides the F.A.R.M program, is there any other programs that you may have in the jail?
Yes, we have a therapeutic community, which is housed by DOC inmates, and we are dedicated to 48 beds for the state for that. So, and that's the only therapeutic environment that is in a county facility in the state.
Obviously, when you were talking about therapeutic recovery,
Yes,
going
yes.
through the recovery process from when that. And I take it, I probably know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. I take it that there are no other recovery centers outside of your department?
No, no.
So you are it. You are the
Yep,
recovery, your detox center. You handle this from beginning to end.
yep.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I know
And
Sheriff.
we have a great jail staff and a great medical staff
Mhm.
that's on. And we have really adapted. This has became the norm now for all county jails.
Right.
It's became the biggest psych center and the biggest detox center in those counties is the
Mhm.
county jail.
Yeah. So if you had the ear of like a congressman or someone going to, what would your recommendation be to someone that was looking at instituting some new policies or laws related to getting more funding to you guys? Would you want a detox center? Would you want something that helps you out in the jail?
Absolutely. I don't know about a detox center. I would really be interested in a reentry program
Hmm.
that we could put on our site because, like I said, we have 23 acres. So once we give them all these, the avenues to make the success, we give them all the substance abuse programs, we give them a job, line way to do a job, but again, we throw them right back in that same environment.
Hmm.
So if they're back around their same family and friends that use or have been using, it's going to be a short time before they start using again.
Yeah.
So I would like to have a reentry program somewhere, a facility that's probably 90 or 100-day lockdown facility to get them back integrated into a routine.
Yeah. And needless to say, Stark County, I mean, the tax base is, you are going to rely on some outside help from federal
Oh,
government.
we would have to.
Yeah,
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 we would have to.
yeah. And all you do is have to drive through Stark County, realize, I mean, there's some manufacturing facilities, but I mean, it's predominantly farm and,
Yeah.
the county dollars don't go far there.
No.
So, boy, I tell you, I've heard so much about what you've done with the resources you have, and boy, hats off to you. We appreciate
thank
you
you.
being out there. And I was joking around with you earlier. One the person before I met you now through Zoom, I happen to be talking to someone. He says, "Oh yeah, Sheriff Dulin. He's kind of like that guy in Walking Tall. He's the sheriff Walking Tall." So I don't know if you had that reputation or not, but someone thinks you.
Well, I appreciate it, and I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not going to, us as a state or county or United States in general, we're not going to arrest our way out of this.
Exactly.
The jails are only so big, and you can house so many people, but unless they're getting rehabilitation, they're going to go right back to the same thing.
Yep. Yep. And it's a problem that is not stopping. In fact,
No.
the press at one time, this was getting front page news, but because of COVID.
Yeah.
But what people need to know, and I assume it's the same in Stark County, is the overdose rate. And I venture to say, and without even looking at the health department statistics, your overdose rate is far more than people being infected with COVID or passing. So I know that's the case in Porter County. I would assume it's in Stark County as well.
Yeah, it is. Overdoses and the drug problem has not stopped because of COVID.
Right.
I mean, that's, we can't put our head in the sand and believe that that's going to happen because it won't.
No. In fact, if anything, it's made the problem worse because the stress associated, loss of job, loss of income, how you survive. And that is sometimes what people resort to, and it creates a problem.
Yeah, oh, big time.
Boy, I tell you what, we do appreciate you coming on and sharing with us and a little bit about what's going on in Stark County. And as any law enforcement, we really appreciate what you guys do for us. You're the frontliners and keeping all the folks safe in Stark County and challenging problems. You've got COVID to deal with, and which all the sheriff's deputies now have to take caution with that. On top of that, dealing with the substance abuse problem in Stark County. But it's a beautiful county. That's
Well,
what,
thank you.
and that's
We love it.
Oh yeah, a lot of people love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful area, and that's why it's shocking that it has this problem. But it is appearing everywhere, so
Yeah.
it's something that we have to deal with. One thing that I hope that the state reps and the congressmen realize that we need additional funding to
Yes.
help this problem out. The counties and local municipalities can't do this on their own. There isn't the wherewithal with tax dollars to help with that. And so we hope that sometime when we get all done with all this political battle, we could concentrate on this problem again and get you guys some additional dollars to save people's lives, because that's what it's going to amount to. So boy, Bill, I tell you, we appreciate you coming on, and hope to have you on again. In fact, what I hope to do is get you and your mentor together on one show. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. I would like that.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for reaching out to me and allowing us to talk about our county, because sometimes the smaller counties are forgotten.
Yeah.
You know, and we still have the same problem that Lake, Porter, LaPorte, Marion County. It's just on a different level, you know, and sometimes the rural counties are forgot about. But I will tell you this, I have been in contact with our local representatives, Ed Charbonneau, Jim Pressel, Mike Boacek, Jackie Walorski. We have all talked about funding, and they have been really receptive of what we do.
Yeah.
Not just us in particular, but the issue that everybody has with opiates and the rehabilitation. And they have been really good to listening to what our problems are.
Good. Yeah, they are great. They're good representatives, and but I was just thinking theoretically.
Yeah.
What if you had their ear right now, and what would you say? And it's not shocking. It's you know, it's something that I know they have on their plate. But you know, like I said, unfortunately, COVID is really monopolizing the discussion, the narrative. It is, and it's a shame, because this is a growing problem. And
Oh, it's huge.
so, yeah,
Huge.
definitely. Well, Bill, listen, you remain safe out there. Take care of yourself, and I know you take care of that beautiful community of yours. And
Thank you.
And we again appreciate everything you do, and we'll let you go get back to being sheriff. And
All right. Well, thank you
just,
for everything.
Just make sure you prime that branch that you keep in the back of your cruiser, will you?
Well,
Just
thank you
kidding.
very
He
much,
does
Bill.
not. He doesn't have that. So listen, take care of yourself. We'll say goodbye for now.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you.
This episode of The Bill and Callie Show is brought to you by
Dutch Farms, maintaining a family tradition of quality for over 91 years.